Should I retake the GMAT? Most applicants aren't solving for the best possible score ever. They're just solving for the score that won't get them rejected. Is this good enough, or do I need to try again in order to be competitive? And so here's my 3-step framework that I share with candidates to help them make this decision. The first one is starting with evidence. So if that's the case for you and you're saying, hey, I typically scored up here on the verbal section, and on test day, for whatever reason, I scored down here, then yes, that's evidence that going into another attempt, you have reasonable assurance that you're going to do well in a retake. Not just do you want to get a better score, or are you hoping to get a better score, but have you actually done better on practice tests? The next thing I want you to think about is history. If you've taken it once, then almost always, yes, I do recommend a retake, regardless of the evidence, because sometimes you just have a bad day. Or on the flip side, sometimes you're just gonna have better luck. If you've taken it 5 times already and you've only scored in a pretty narrow band, it's probably not a very good chance that you're going to do any better than that on a 6th attempt. Typically, after a 3rd attempt, maybe go for it a 4th time. After that, I'd recommend staying put with the best score you have. And then the last thing I want you to think about is context. If you went to an Ivy League undergrad and you have a 3.9 GPA in a quantitatively rigorous major, that's going to be a very different conversation from someone that has a 3.2 GPA from a less competitive school with a communications major, right? The context is, what schools are you applying to? How does your GMAT score compare with the story that your GPA, an undergraduate transcript, is telling? How does all of that compare to the class profiles of the schools that you're applying to? At the end of the day, it's really hard to make a blanket recommendation because it really does come down to your individual situation. So if you want to talk about your circumstances, we'd love to chat with you. You can request an initial consultation at the link below.